Yo, Kid-Based Guy here. What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. And today I want to talk about my secrets into how I choose my speakers. Well, let's not call it secrets. Let's just say how I go about picking my speakers. A lot of people out there, when they're looking for electronics, they're looking for speakers to put into their home theater, they don't know where to start. What do you get? What do you look for? I'm going to tell you guys what I personally look for when I'm choosing speakers and how I end up where I'm at. So for example, if you're new to the channel, first off, hit that subscribe button. But if you're new to the channel or you have forgotten what I have in my home theater, I'm using the Canton Ventos and they are phenomenal speakers. But how did I get these speakers? I'll tell you. The first thing you want to do when looking for new speakers is establish a budget. How much do you want to spend? How much is too much? How much do you have to go towards a certain speaker, right? And so let's stay focused with the front speakers, the front left and the front right, that are typically the most expensive speaker in the system, typically, right? So for me, when I went out and found my Canton Ventos, I knew that I had a budget of about maybe $5,000 in total. So $5,000 between the two. That's all that I wanted to spend, nothing more. How did I come to that budget? Well, I've saved up a lot of money. I had nothing. I took care of my business and my bills and everything. So I knew that I had that cash to spend. Also, I have to upgrade from what I already have. That's step number 2. What do you already have in your system now? And how are you going to expand upon it? In your current system, what are you lacking? What do you not like about your current speakers? Whatever you're missing, find that certain thing in your next speaker. So that's step 2. First one, establish a budget. Step 2, make sure that you upgrade from what you're coming from, or you're just wasting your money at the end of the day. So that's step 2. So I had Polk Audio LSI-M speakers, phenomenal speakers. They were so hard to get rid of. They still sound good today, and they're about 10 or 11 years old now. I loved those things, but I had to upgrade from them. So there was my benchmark. My previous system is my benchmark. So again, find a budget and then make sure that your budget is high enough so that you can upgrade from what you have, okay? Now you may be asking yourself, okay, those two make sense, but how do I know what is an upgrade from what I have? What if I can't hear those speakers? There's certain specs that I like to look for, especially when it comes to tower speakers, which is what we're talking about right now. There is a certain criteria that I personally have, and that's frequency response, price tag, size, and the way they look. And so what I mean by all this is that, for example, frequency response, I like a tower that can dig really low on its own. I like a tower that can perform without a subwoofer. So I like to look at the frequency response of each speaker that I'm auditioning, if I can see it or if I can't. If it's online only, if it's at a store, I look at frequency response. Probably the first thing I look at, because I like to listen to my music without a subwoofer. And so I need a speaker that can handle its own without a subwoofer. So I'm looking for something 40 hertz, 35 hertz, something in that area, so that I know that it's capable to play most genres of music by itself. So for you, you may want something that's a little light on the bass because you plan on using a subwoofer. So maybe you want a speaker that digs down to 55 hertz or 60 or something like that, right? So look at the specs. Look at the specs. I look at the specifications at every speaker. The first thing I do after I see the price, I scroll down to the specs and I read those. How much power does it have? What's the frequency response? What's the sensitivity rating? All these things can tell you if that speaker is a good one or not. So that's something that I look for when I'm looking at my next speaker. Now, I know a lot of you guys in the comment section are yelling at me right now because I mentioned that looks is another reason why I may or may not purchase a speaker. You gotta understand, looks obviously are aesthetically pleasing in your home. It's another piece of art. Usually speakers are really large, so at least make them look good. You're like, it's music, it's audio. What matters is what you hear, not what you see, right? You're correct. But let me tell you something that you guys don't think about. The nicer looking speakers tend to be the better built speakers. The ones that have the nice finish and nice design is not just for looks, but it's for acoustics. It's for lack of resonance inside the box, lack of standing waves. It sounds better. It's not just carved to look pretty. It actually helps keep that sound forward and sounding good. So a really pretty looking speaker sometimes is a really good speaker. Speakers that have a really nice shape that taper off, most of the time, is acoustically correct on the inside. And so it's not just about looks for me. Although I love the looks of my Kentons, it's not just the looks that got me. It's the fact that they shaped those speakers to help with the in-cabinet resonant frequencies so that all the sound comes forward and nothing is affected on the inside of the cabinet. The design reduces standing waves. The port on the bottom keeps port chuffing to a minimum. And so the design's not just for looks. It's also for performance. And so when you're looking for a speaker, you want to look at the design. Is it just a box? What is the wood made out of? What is the finish made out of? These things are also important because it also goes towards your budget. How much am I getting out of that speaker versus the money that I'm going to put into it? Am I getting that money back or more? So keep that in mind when you're looking for speakers, that looks do matter because a lot of times it can tell you if it's quality or not. Now, the last thing I want to say is sometimes it's hard to find those speakers you're looking for in person. You may not have a showroom next to you, or your local showroom doesn't have the speakers you're looking for. Sometimes you have to go on a limb, to be honest with you. Sometimes you just have to buy those speakers. Nowadays, companies are really nice. They'll give you a 30-day in-home trial, or they'll let you have them and return them back. Maybe they'll cost you the shipping to go back, but at least you'll get your money back for them to go towards another speaker. So sometimes you just have to take the leap and go for it. To be honest with you, the Canton Ventos that I have now was a leap of faith. I had a lot of feedback from friends and comments on my YouTube channel, of course, as to aid me towards these speakers, but I've always known about Canton. I've done my research. That's my next tip for you guys. Do your research. YouTube is a huge search engine. Almost everything you want to know is on YouTube. If it's not on YouTube, it's on Google search, and Google owns YouTube. So what do you know? You're probably going to find your answer. Do your research, watch YouTube videos, listen to professionals' feedback, go and try to find the speaker out and about if you can, if you're close enough. You can find some AV forums out there that people will really give you their honest opinion about that said speaker. You can find a review on every speaker that's out there. Somebody's listened to it and somebody said something about it. So do your research. So from the top, establish a budget. Make sure that the speakers are something that you can afford. Don't be too cheap and cheat yourself, but establish a budget. Then make sure the speakers you are looking at is an upgrade from your current sound system. Make sure that what you're looking for is better than what you have. After that, check the specs. Make sure that all the speakers are kind of aligned with what you're looking for. Look at the sensitivity rating, check the power rating, make sure that they're strong enough to handle your amplifiers or whatever you're looking to power them with. Make sure the specs look good. Also, make sure the design and materials are good as well. Don't buy a cheap speaker. You'll regret spending your money on something like that. Make sure it's built with good quality. Make sure the components inside are well built. Make sure that the drivers are built of a good material. Make sure the tweeter sounds good. All that good stuff, right? And then do your research. If you can't find it in person, somebody has them. Take a look at what people are talking about and see if that fits what you're looking for. And that's how I go about finding my speaker. Now, if you can listen to them, it's always the better way to go. You put your ear to that speaker and you make sure that it sounds good. But if you can't, do your research and make sure that you find something that you are looking for that fits what you want. So that's how I find my speakers. That's how I found my Kentons. In my next speaker, I'll do the same 5 steps. So what I want you guys to do down below in the comment section, let me know what are your steps into finding your speakers. How did you find the speakers you have in your home? If you don't have speakers, how are you going to go about finding them? Let us know that down below in the comment section. Hit that like button and subscribe if you are not already. We will see you guys in the next video. Keep Bass Guy out. Peace.